I am a voice actor with a cold. Good morning. My name is Bill DeWeese, professional voiceover talent, voiceover coach, voiceover demo producer, author of a couple of voiceover books, including my latest, which is called Get Paid Using Your Voice. There's a link below that in the description, so be sure to check that out today. What's going on? Today I'm going to talk about the fact that I have a cold, but it's not just to share the cold misery with you, but it's hopefully to give you information that will be helpful. I'll talk about how I manage that cold and then how I deal with clients regarding that cold, which you could also use just generally thinking about when you're not feeling so well. How do you deal with all of that stuff? So we'll talk about that. The cicada, the plague of cicadas is beginning to subside. Their numbers are, as they die off, they're shrinking, and the sound is getting less and less and less because it was deafening only about a week ago. And those little buggers are, I mean, they are everywhere. They've been attaching themselves to me when I'm outside, unbeknownst to me, and then riding me into the house. Yesterday, I came into the studio before I went live on for the live stream, and I felt a cicada crawling up the back of my neck. And I got him and I knocked him someplace, and then I couldn't find him until later yesterday. He was laying on the floor outside the studio. But they're not harmful, but they are as annoying as heck. It's crazy. It's crazy, but I think we're just about past that. Well, let's talk cold because I thought I was going to escape the spring without this. We had some pretty high pollen counts earlier this spring, which is annoying, but I got through that. And then yesterday it just all kind of hit and evolved into this, which feels very much like a cold, maybe the beginning of a sinus infection. I don't know. But regardless, the runny nose, stuffy head, that kind of thing. So as a voice actor, what do you do about that? You'd be surprised at the number of emails that I receive asking, what to do when you get sick. Here's first of all the bad news. The bad news is there's not like a silver bullet out there that I have that nobody else has that cures these illnesses. I don't have some secret way, there's no cure for the common cold that I've been given that nobody else has access to. There just isn't a cure to the common cold. But how do you manage that? In my experience, I have a couple of things. I have found that the zinc tablets, lozenges that you take, I think they're under a brand name. There's Cold Ease, but you can buy, I think I have the generic Walgreens version. You take one like every 3 hours. And if you start taking it early in the cold, it really does. And it's been scientifically proven to reduce the duration of a cold. And I found that to be true for me. It's one of the best things I can do. If I catch the cold early, start taking the zinc, and I'm on the zinc right now. So hopefully, even by end of today, maybe I'll be feeling a little bit better, sounding a little bit better. So that's number one. But in terms of managing the symptoms that I have, I just use like severe daytime cold and flu stuff. I've got a bottle of the Vicks version of it, and then I've got a bottle of a generic, I think Walgreens version of it that I've been taking. And so, not the NyQuil. You don't want the NyQuil. That'll knock you out. You don't want that. You want the daytime version of that will make you sleepy. But that just helps with symptoms, it suppresses coughs and, kind of dries out the congestion. So that's helpful. Occasionally I'll use a nasal decongestant, but got to be careful with that stuff. For me, after I use it for 2 or 3 days, then if I don't use it, my sinuses become inflamed, and then of course you need more to shrink it back down again. So I don't like to get into that cycle. But if I've got like an important session coming up or something, I'll often use it for that, just to kind of open up my sinuses. It doesn't make me sound a whole lot better, but it helps. So those are the things that I do to manage the symptoms. In terms of managing clients, one, I think, important thing to note is that what I have found over the years is that I sound much worse to myself in my head as I hear myself than I do to my clients. Because I've rarely had a client say, "Oh, you sound terrible." I've rarely had that happen. But what I do when I feel like I'm sounding like, not my normal self, and a client needs something, I'll record it or record a sample of it and send it to them and say, "This is what I sound like today. If you want to record it, I'm glad to do it. However, if you want to wait, I understand." 9 times out of 10, they say, "Oh, you sound fine." And I think a lot of it's just because everybody's on a tight deadline. People don't have time to wait around. But also, I think it's true that we always sound worse to ourselves. We're always our worst critic. There's probably some of you listening right now that think, "Oh, you really don't sound I don't hear anything, or I don't hear much of anything." Um, yeah, to me, it feels because I can feel my head just being stuffed up and, the runny nose and all that stuff. The feeling of it makes it sound makes it feel like I sound probably worse than I actually do. Plus, it just makes me feel tired. It's what makes it harder to record and keep my energy level up, all that stuff. But there's no way you can avoid that. I mean, that's just stuff happens. Stuff happens. I typically when I'm sick, unless I'm like down and out. There was a time, trying to think back, several years ago where I had the flu, where I was like out with the flu. I mean, like I was down with the flu for a few weeks, and I just didn't have the energy. I could not work. I had COVID a few months back. I worked through COVID, you know. Of course, I didn't have it as bad as a lot of people had it, but I didn't feel good. Didn't feel very, very good. I was exhausted, but I was able to do it and work through it. So typically, I just work through these things and let the client decide whether they like the sound of my voice or not. That's just, there's no way to get around it. So that's the way I manage it, and that's one of the things that it's tough about being self-employed. I mean, I love being a voice actor, love doing voiceovers, all of that. I love all of that. But, you're a one-person show. It's on you, and there are no sick days in self-employment. In other words, I can't hire somebody else to take my place when somebody hires me for my voice. I can't hire somebody else to do pickups for a project I've already recorded. I just you can't. So, you either do it or you delay it, and I try to delay it as infrequently as I possibly can just because it's all about the client. It's all about making them happy, keeping them happy. It's impossible to do that 100% of the time. There are going to be occasions when you just can't, and you just have to manage it the best you can by communicating with your client. Usually, they will work with you. I remember one occasion, I've rarely been disappointed through, situations where something's happened and I wasn't able to work for do work for a client. But several years ago, I had a session scheduled with a PGA Tour, and I was doing regular work for the PGA Tour, which I love because I love golf. Not really very good at it, but I love playing golf, and to do something for the PGA Tour is always, an honor, especially if it makes it to TV. That's kind of cool. But in this particular situation, I don't think I was sick. I think in this case it was a technical situation where I was having problem with my ISDN lines, if you remember ISDN, with that or a source connector. There was some kind of problem. I don't remember, but I couldn't do the session on the day that I was scheduled to do it. So what happened was they found somebody else to take my place, and guess what? They never called me back. Not because they didn't like me, but, apparently the person they hired, they liked them, and they kept them. And so I try to never allow my clients to have an excuse not to bring me back. But sometimes it's impossible. You just do the best you can. But these are the way I handle, like, for instance, the cold. I manage the symptoms, I communicate with my client, and I still record when I can, as long as I'm not completely down and out. If my client doesn't like the quality of the work, that's fine. I'll be glad to do it as soon as I'm sounding a little bit better, if they're willing to hold out. I hope you find that helpful. I'm ready for a nap right now, by the way. Wow. I feel like I've been working all day and I just got started. Let's see who we've got checked in on the live stream. If you have not said hey there in our live chat, make sure you do that. Let me know where you're watching and listening from this morning. We'll do some shout outs here. We've got, oh, first of all, before I do that, coming up July 13th, my live voiceover summit. It's my first live event in 8 years, doing it here in the Chicagoland area. When you buy your ticket today, you're going to save $200 off that. And this summit, this event, while we'll be talking about all things related to voiceover. There will be a focus. We'll be doing a lot of business building, helping you make money, which is really, again, my heartbeat, my mission as a voiceover coach. We'll talk about performance and some other things, but there'll be a lot going on about business building. And I would love to see you there. So make sure you save that $200 on your ticket. The link is below the description. Check it out today. Emma in Huntington Beach, good morning to you. We've got GS in Longview. He says, sorry about the cold. Well, thank you, GS. I appreciate that. Phil in Tokyo. It was a terrific Tuesday. And let's see here. And if you're saying, well, what do you mean it was? it's because Phil's either wrapping up his Tuesday or it's already over and he's into early Wednesday morning there in Tokyo. Hey, Rob and Loveland, how are you doing? John, what's happening in Rhinebeck? Rebecca, not overthinking it Tuesday in Michigan. I like that. Julie in Hummelstown, Pennsylvania. Robert, good morning to you in Indianapolis. Aaron in Como, Salette in Newark, Delaware, in the house. Terry, good morning to you in Falston, Maryland. Matthew in Grand Rapids. He says this may hit close to home. I guess it's good timing since I'm recording my pro demo tomorrow. Tim, hello to you in Altoona. Mark, hello everyone from Montreal. My voice sometimes sounds better when I have a cold. Jason, good morning to you in Newport, Oregon. Monica in Poland. Rusty in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. We've got Doug in Greensboro, North Carolina. Wayne in Port Orchard, Washington. Marla, Texas. Denise in Long Island. Corey in Wisconsin. Chris, Lakeview, Minnesota. Mark in Eaton, Ohio. Scratchy throat for 3 days now. Sorry about that, Mark. Hey, Wade. Good morning, Bryce in San Antonio. Ralph in Cedar Falls, Iowa. Mark says, good morning, Bill and everyone from California's Central Valley. Scotty, Heidi-ho neighbors from Brookings, South Dakota. Wade, good morning from Philadelphia. Jason in good old Kearney, Nebraska. He says, don't worry about it. Everyone mispronounces it. I've been calling it Kearney for a long time. And finally, I was corrected. And now I know it's Kearney. Now I know. If I ever visit Nebraska, I won't sound like an out-of-towner. Robert, what's up in Atlanta? Let's see here. VOWebsites.com. Robert, that's where I had my website built, and there's a discount. By the way, if you use VOWebsites.com, you go to that URL, you'll get the DeWeese discount. So check it out. Let's see here. Keeson, I hope I got that right. Forgive me if I didn't, in San Antonio. Chamira from the UK. I'm currently suffering with hay fever. Oh no, I hope you feel better soon. Hey Meryl, how are you doing in northern New Jersey? Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. Good morning to Calvin in Charleston. Joy, Southfield, Michigan. Oh, I'm recovering from pneumonia. I was 3 weeks off the mic and have to retrain my voice. It's a slow and road to recovery, but I'm getting there. Hang in there. The Navage nasal irrigation machine is amazing for clearing out those sinuses as well. Yeah, I've done the, not to use the Navage, but I've done the, neti pot kind of thing. Yeah, it's, some people swear by it, and I've used it. I don't know that it really helped me all that much, but I can see where it might for some people, for sure. Wally, tremendous Tuesday. Wishing you all the success I create for myself in Annapolis. Thank you, Wally and Wade, praying for your speedy recovery. Thank you, Wade. Lulu in Rochester, New York. I have a cold, sore throat right now. This is a timely conversation. Wally says that sauna should do the trick, Bill. Yeah, you know what? I need to use that tonight. I haven't been in the sauna for a while. The house that we bought last summer happened to have it's got a dry sauna in it. Who knew? Well, that's a nice little bonus. And so I haven't used it all that much. I need to kick it into gear. I can get that puppy. If I let it heat up for a couple hours, I can get it up to 170. And I've been able to work up to like 30 minutes in it, which that's a lot. We'll see. We'll see maybe tonight. Melissa, good morning to you in San Diego. Joy says, oh no, drink some tea with lemon. That helps my stuffiness, especially when I got back from VO Atlanta where I caught a bad cold. Hanging out with all those voiceover talent, no doubt. Patricia in Arizona. Lulu, thank you. Alex, happy sunny morning in Utah. Jabizi in Phoenix, Arizona. Hey, Philip. Susan, get air mist for the rest of your life. Good morning from Keith in Renton, Washington. Patricia says, I had a bad cough and had to record an ad. I found that hot tea and honey with ginger and curcumin made it way helpful. Phil says, good morning from Las Vegas. Always have this nice rasp when I'm sick. I wish it stayed. It sounds way better than my normal voice. Solutions for sore throats, though. I usually make up lemon and ginger and honey and water. And we've got Fancy Nancy in Cincinnati. Hey, guys, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Stay well. But if not, manage your symptoms the best you can, but communicate with your clients. You'll be surprised at how often they'll continue to work with you, even when you don't sound as good as you think you should. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.